Are you curious to know how to submit an offer on a probate property for investment or for purchase for your own residence? Stick around. We're going to get right into it. What's up, YouTube? It's Doug Lee with SoCal Probate Real Estate, and today we're going to talk about how to submit an offer on a probate property. Simply put, there are two types of probate properties that you can submit an offer on. The first one is what we call full authority, and the second one is what we call limited authority. Full authority, the first one, full authority, is pretty simple. If it's full authority, no court confirmation is needed. You just submit the paperwork on the probate purchase agreement, and then it's pretty much like a standard purchase agreement. 30-day close, everything's fine. The executor can sign off immediately, and you can proceed to close. However, if it is a limited authority, which is the second one, there's 5 things that you do need to know to make sure that you understand in your offer. Okay. The first one is that you need to know is that the EMD is going to be 10% of the offer price. So if you're submitting at 500,000, it's not the customary 3% here in California where you just put $15,000 in escrow. It's going to be 10%, which is $50,000. Number 2, you need to know very clearly what your vesting will be. So are you buying it as a single person, Joe Blow, single man? Are you buying it as husband and wife, community property, right of joint tenants, right of survivorship? Or as preferable, you're probably going to be buying it as a living trust, and that's the safest way to protect your asset. But depending, if you're buying it as an investment property, you may be buying it as a corporation or an LLC. That also needs to be specified very clearly in the purchase agreement when you submit it initially. The third thing that you need to know is that when you in a limited authority, the courts will require that the final offer price be within 90% of the appraised value. So if the property is listed for 500 and it appraises for 500, then it can't sell for anything less than $450,000. So you need to be at least at that minimum in order for it to go through. And that's presuming that you're not competing against other offers. I want to make it clear that just because it's limited authority and just because of the 90%, it does not mean that you can submit at 90% and be guaranteed to win it. There will be competitive, most likely there will be competitive other buyers offering more. So if it just so happens that there aren't enough and that you're submitting, it must be at least above that 90% threshold. The fourth thing that's really important to note is that you need to know what's the next court date. Okay. A lot of times they often forget because in a full authority, you can proceed, everything's going to close within 30 days. But the challenge becomes is that when you're in a limited authority, you submit your offer, you need to find out, the attorney needs to arrange for a second court date, and that doesn't typically come until you as the buyer have removed all contingencies. Not only that, but that the second court date may be a little bit while off. So if you're in an environment like right now where there's interest rates that are rising, the interest rates can kind of move against you. And not only that, but you can kind of be stuck with higher payments at the end. So just be mindful of that. And the last thing that you need to know is that in limited authority, there is a big risk. And that risk is that even though you submit your offer, you win the initial bid, you did you've nailed out your vesting, you've offered above the 90% appraisal threshold. The thing that you're also subject to is at the second court hearing, you're also subject to overbidding, where a possible buyer can come in at the last minute and they can submit a bid higher than yours and then win it. I wouldn't really worry too much about that because if you're a retail buyer, you're paying a retail price. I think that the courts really set this up as a way to protect the beneficiaries to make sure that the properties are not being sold too cheap. But it also protects against investors looking to buy. If the property is being sold too low, then they can come here, they can bid higher to get the property. That's kind of the way that the court system tries to ensure that they get the most money possible for the estate. I hope that you like this video. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button and stick around for our weekly videos. Talk to you soon. Are you curious to know how to submit an offer on a probate property for investment or for purchase for your own residence? Stick around. We're going to get right into it.